After 78, partial not allowed. It becomes now individual property when there is a partition by meets and bounds. You are talking about holder. Is called as holder of impartible estate. Holder of impartible estate is not a concept now. There may be a impartible estate which could not be partitioned. So all are living in that. We call it as holder of impartible estate. But it is taxed in the hands of the holder. It is taxed, although it remains impartible. But now you have to have partition by meets and bounds. Partition by meets and bounds. Yes. Person cannot be denied, but you can relinquish. I said you can't deny. Everybody will get equal share. But father, and there is a partition fund between father and the children. The children share, the child share will be partitioned amongst his children. So if there are father, mother, 2 children, and there is a partition, the son will get 1/4, and the son also has 2 sons. So that will have 1/4 will be shared by the 3. 1/4 by 1/12 by his father, 1/12 by his son, 1/12 this way. And then he also has children. Then it will be 1/12 will be shared by his children. Are you getting my point? So there is a partition first amongst first class, right? Equal. Who are the right holder? Father, wife, children. Equal share. Correct? Now, son will share it with his children. Grandson will share with his children. So that there is a complete partition down the line amongst all members. Because the father has 3 sons. X son has 5 children. Y son has 1 child. Z son has 3 children. So how will they get it? Whatever son share, they will share with them. Whatever Y share, he will share with his children. Whatever Z share, he will share with his children. That way it is to be done. Yes, sir. It may not be. But if it is immovable property, it should be. Immovable property relinquishment is to be registered because of the stamp duty problem. But movable property registration is not required. Even in a case of a gift also, movable property gift, no registration is required. It is by delivery. But immovable property, the law says it has to be registered. Registered. And you have to pay stamp duty. Many states do not have stamp duty when it is given, but most of the states have, and they have some concession also in the case of gifted property. It depends upon state to state. It is not a central matter. Clear? Clear? Yes, sir. We should have only one topic whenever I have you noticed one thing? And I have no point of shifting to another topic unless you are clear about the topic which we are discussing. But I am not discussing anything. We are wasting our time. Because you will continue to do the same thing which you are already doing. Yes, sir.
The relinquishment has been done. Relinquish has been done between co-partners. There is one co-partner and mother is there. Whether still it's not a partition.
No, relinquishment is not a partition. Relinquishment without consideration.
Relinquish without consideration.
No, it is not a partition.
And the achievement can continue with one co-partner and mother.
Yeah, why not? I told you one. When there is a person who are separating out, even one existing HUF can continue with one co-partner. But new HUF to be created needs to have 2 co-partners. I told you, new HUF to be created 2 co-partners, and it cannot be 2 brothers cannot form HUF. It's not 2 brothers cannot form HUF. You need to have child, lineal descendant. Can you form an HUF with lineal ascendant? Can you form HUF with your father? Father can form HUF with you, but you cannot form HUF with your father. Can you form HUF with your mother? Question does not arise. They are lineal ascendant. You have to form HUF with your children. As per income tax, but as per Hindu law, with your wife. That's all. That is the only difference. But HUF. 2 brothers cannot form HUF. But after the death of the father, 2 brothers can continue to be in HUF of their father. It is not their HUF. It is father's HUF which they are continuing. HUF never dies unless there is a partition. HUF never dies. It will die only when there is only one person left. No other left. Are you getting my point? Yes, sir. Sure.
In a HUF, father, 2 sons, 1 daughter is there. Even if the daughter relinquishes in favor of the elder brother without any consideration, in law, that relinquishment will go in favor of family totally.
It has to be in the favor of family.
Family,
Not in the favor
necessarily
of that person.
Sometimes she will be liking only the elder brother, she will go register that.
I'll explain
My
that
share.
point. I'll explain that point little later. Is it clear? Is it clear, sir? Now, section 6. Yes, sir? What is to be? It's a memorandum. Because you have to inform the AO. And AO has to inform, he has to issue notices. Legally I am talking about. A has to issue notices to the all members. And then you have to pass a partition order. How will you pass a partition order unless there is a partition, written partition amongst you? Some MOU. Are you understand? Memorandum of understanding. You give it to him. He will call them. Do you agree with that? If they say yes, there is a partition order. If they say no, they'll go to the court. Are you getting my point? HUF is making a peaceful settlement amongst you, and you are writing that yes, I agree to that. That's why the opportunity of being heard is given to you. Are you getting my point? If the opportunity of heard is not given, then it is not a partition according to the wishes of the co-partner. Are you getting my point? So you have to, but nobody does. That's a different thing.
Sir, I have a question. Is HUF mandatory? A father had 5 sons.
Huh.
His property, he passed.
Mandatory? Who said that HUF is mandatory? If the father died intestate, there is no HUF. It is go to the individual in their individual capacity. I told you, right? Section 8. I die, my property will go to my legal heir in their individual capacity. If I don't write a will, it cannot be assessed property of HUF. It is not. It is not. I started with that, sir.
Under will, he doesn't form a HUF.
You cannot form HUF yourself.
No, without a will, in the will he specifies it will go to A, B, C, D, E. In that case also, it can remain a joint property, no?
No. It is co-ownership property.
Co-ownership.
There is no joint property. It is co-owner. It becomes co-owner. Co-owner, no co-partner, co-owner. Even if the shares are defined. And if the shares, they should be defined. If the shares are not defined, it is equal ratio. It is equal ratio. But they are co-owners. They are not co-partner. It is not HUF. They are co-owner of that property with their individual percentage, which is equal unless it is well written and percentage is unequal. Am I right? Right, sir? Agreed? 1 minute, sir.
The associate has informed about the partition.
But he doesn't do anything. He will never do anything. It is a partition. You are not concerned with that. Provided you have informed. But we have never informed also. If it is informed, your job is over. Because the word written is he shall. And if he does not do it, it is deemed partition. I am not concerned. I will not force him to please issue notices to all of them. Because he also does not know that he has to issue notice. And section 171 subsection 9 says, if there is a partial partition of Hindu undivided family after 31st December 1978, it will not be recognized by the law. It will not be recognized by the law. Then it will be continue to be assessed as HUF. It will continue.
Can HUF be created by reunion of members?
Yes, certainly you asked me the outside. Remember? Now there is a partition because it has to be a complete partition. You can't have a partial partition as very rightly pointed out. Then husband and wife want to join or one son want to join. It is called a reunion allowed.
But in that case, there is only one co-partner. I mean, after reunion.
Ye can, because it is existing continuing. You can have reunion with husband and wife.
The corpus will be formed by.
Whatever share you got in reunion.
But then will it not be treated as
No, it's not a gift.
throwing into common hodgepodge?
Sir, but it is reunion allowed. Even if you are saying that, will section 64(2) apply? You want to say that. But since Hindu law allows reunion and it has not been denied under the Income Tax Act, so therefore it is not treated as transfer putting into hodgepodge. That's why reunion is again part of the original HUF. Are you getting my point? To part with that money you have given, but it is allowed. It is allowed. Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
DHF is in highest bracket.
What is that?
DHF, XHF,
Ah.
which your HF is in the highest bracket. His grandson become major now. Can he transfer so sizable deposit to the grandson?
Sir, I told you once income is accumulated,
Accumulated.
it is now accumulated wealth. If you make a partition, if you give it to anybody as a gift or anything, it is treated as partial partition, which is not recognized by the law. I have not got tired. Everybody's got tired now. I'm moving out. Childbirth certificate and your certificate. Yeah. All co-personal name. Sir, sign will be done by the Karta when you apply for PAN number, but in the family list, you have to give the name of all the co-partners. That is only for the president proof that you are having an HUF at a particular place. In the case of individual, don't they have an ID proof? So that's why they want ID proof of Karta at least. Who is signing? They want ID proof of the person who is signing that return. Who is signing that form 49A. Since you are signing 49A, you need to give your ID proof. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Date of formation of it. Date of formation you have to give. It's not a deed. It's the date of birth of a certificate you give. It's not a deed. It's no question of a deed. You can give an affidavit that I got the child, or you attach the certificate of the child also. Done. Birth certificate. Childbirth and the corpus. Childbirth and the corpus. Childbirth and the corpus. Section 6. No break. No, not to me also. I'm not talking about their break, and this is my break. See how much torture they are doing. Okay, let's go. Section 6. Please listen to me carefully. If a Hindu male dies, intestate means without writing a will, his share in the HUF, please note the word, his share in the HUF will go to his legal heirs in their individual capacity. Earlier it was by way of survivor, now it is by way of succession. Prior to 1956, the survivor used to take the share, whosoever left. Now it is not that. Let me take a case. There is a father, wife, 2 children. There is an HUF. Father dies. What is his share in the HUF if he had not died? 1/4? His 1/4 share will go to his legal heir in their individual capacity. If there is an intestate death. If it is will, he can remit it to anybody. But if it is an intestate death, individual capacity. And it will go to legal heir of the first class. Who are the legal heir? Wife, children. But there is one more. Mother, which is not in that HUF. Which is not in that HUF, am I right or wrong? Because she is not the member of your HUF. So 1/4 will go to the 1/4 into 1/4. 1/16 will go to the mother. 1/16 will go to the wife, 1/16 will go to one child, 1/16 will go to the another child. But since there is no partial partition, HUF will be continue to be assessed as HUF. And they will be called tenants in common. Who are the tenants in common? That is mother, wife and 2 children as tenants in common of the share of the father. But as regards their share, HUF has 3/4 share. Am I right? So HUF will have 3/4 share and those will have 1/4 share, which after paying the tax by HUF can be shared by the 1/4 people. That is 1/12, whatever, 1/16, 1/16. But rest 3/4 will remain with the HUF. That you can distribute current year, but not as accumulated. Are you getting my point, what I'm saying? If another member dies, his share will also go to his legal heir in their individual capacity, and they will remain as tenants in common till there is a complete partition of Hindu individual. So if I die in my HUF, don't think the partnership is exhausted. Whatever my share was there, had I gone for partition, would go to my legal heir in their individual capacity. Sorry, it is going above the head now. It is going above the head now, because this is the law, section 6 of the Hindu Succession Act. But have we ever done that? If somebody goes, we say thank you very much, the remainder will be the owner. Have we done that? If anybody goes, survivorship. Survivorship is finished after 1956. It is by succession. The word is Hindu Succession Act. Are we doing it? We are not doing it. So in the beginning also I told you, continue to do whatever you are doing, but listen to me, it is a poison, nothing more than a poison. So after listening that, you will never listen to HUF in future also, because the law is like that. I have explained the point, but of course, if you want to disagree with me, kindly read Hindu Succession Act. Then you will definitely accept whatever I am talking to you. But this is only when intestate. If it is will, you can do whatever you feel like. There's absolutely no problem about my share. I can will it to anybody. Nobody stops me. But if it is intestate, it has to be as per the Hindu Succession Act 1956. You getting my point? Yes, sir.
How do you say this? 1/16, how do you say that?
116. What was his share if he had, there would have been a partition? 1/4. 1/4 will go to his legal heir in individual capacity, not as HUF, individual. What is his legal heir? Wife, 2 children and mother. So 116, 1/4 into 4, 116 to the mother, 116 to the wife, 116 to son, 116 to the child, but in their individual capacity, and 3/4 in their combined capacity. Are you getting my point? You appreciate? But it is only for the sake of appreciation. I'm telling you, it's not for the sake of following. It's appreciation, that's all. So that's why I'm saying this is the position these days happening. Thank you very much for the patient hearing. We'll continue that.
Dear friends, thank you very much, sir. We will have capital gains, which will have a special impact, taking into consideration the Finance Act. What are all the changes which is brought, we requested him, so that the members can have a tea and you can listen the capital gains. And yeah, because we have progressively we have given, that's why. So you can use this time to raise question, and I request the office to keep the lucky dip box here, man. The lucky dip box, anybody who has not put, yesterday if you have put, that is enough. Not every day you have to put one card actually. Both the days put together one, and in case, if you are too fortunate to get picked up twice, probably you will be disqualified. You are supposed to put only one card. And again I tell, tomorrow and after tomorrow, we have again, interesting programs. And since there is no spot registration, if any of your friends want to register, they can register today till 8 p.m. because till our webinar is over, our staff will be there, so that you can tell your friends. And Mr. Girish Ahuja will be covering taxation of charitable trust, NPOs, with a special reference to cancellation of registration. Many of the chartered accountants face these issues. So if you know any chartered accountants dealing in this NPO and charitable side, definitely this is not to be missed. Then TDS, Tax Directorate Source, certain concerns of ours have already been addressed by the government, but still there are certain practical issues involved. So in TDS also, so there that also will be dealt with by Sunil Talati tomorrow. And then accounts, financial statements, audit and penal provisions under the Companies Act, Mr. Santana Krishnan. Then again survey, search and seizure, which is a evergreen subject. What are all the tips? Today you got 2,51,000 by gift or a will. It's a small one, but immediately you can follow. Only thing is the department, those who attended here, the next year return will be 2,51,000. The same figure will be there. You will be paying 103 rupees, I think, what your sir has said. Many cases will be coming sometimes in our review meetings. They may ask, what sir, everybody is getting the same amount, same gift, same tax is there. So you can change it. If you want, you can pay 200 rupees instead of 100 rupees. Actually, certain variants. And we had a orientation program for candidates appearing for campus interview. There, one of the employers said, sir, the candidates who have come here from Madras Center, they are holding it very tight, the handle, and staring the eyes. Why they are doing it? Then I came to know, the gentleman who taught, he said body language and eye-to-eye contact you have to maintain. So the fellows are kanne chimitla, abde paadite irukapla. So sometimes the strategy has to be reworked, not uniformly. There you can have your own originality as well. So we have got survey, search and seizure under the Income Tax Act. Practical issues, Dr. Girish Ahuja is kind of very, very difficult to get him 2 days. But I felt our Chennai members should get the maximum benefit and practical tips in seizure, how to, the issue is the appeals, what we have done, even sometimes settlement commission, we have done the program. The idea is your cases without need to give to any other lawyer or a senior, you yourself should be able to handle. That is the issue. So for that you must have the information at your command, the practical tips. Earlier at least the case law, now everything is available in your fingertips. So how to handle when the situation comes yourself. So the survey, search and seizure is a very evergreen subject, and accounting for CSR expenditure, I will be doing it. Even today, that drafting of conveyance deeds, which I have to address, sir, due to public demand, I should not address. So we have, so the public demand to address, you would have seen, public demand not to address. So that is why we told you will be touching on capital gains, sir, so that they will, then we have mergers, demergers, acquisition, transaction advisory and due diligence. It's a very important topic for practical professionals, even for those employees who are employed there in senior positions. In due diligence, what are all the documents they have to keep for the auditors who are doing the due diligence report, what to give, what not to give. That will be dealt by Ramakrishnan, who is doing this vertically. He is a partner of Santana Krishnan in PK of Sridharan Santanam. He will be coming and addressing. Then we have Mr. Patabiram, capital markets, derivatives, how to invest in share market. There is a topic, art of preparation of project reports for assured bank finance. Vinay Murthaji is coming from Bangalore for this. And we have Mr. Goyal, Mr. Ved Jain, Vijay Kumar, all are addressing. So the 2 days will be a very good session for all of you, so that you can, those of you not registered, you can register for tomorrow and after tomorrow. If you don't want to come, still you want to contribute, then also you are welcome. You can register and pay the money for cross subsidy. Okay. Then you have Companies Act, risk and IT audit dimensions also will be covered. Then we have on 31st, salaried assessees, tax planning tips. We have income from house property. So what are all the tax planning there also, and income from other sources, which are all the heads which will come under income from other sources, any planning possible there also. FCRA, Mr. Kandaswamy, we requested. Then the provisions of the Companies Act for private limited, small company, 1% companies, that is there. And conversion of partnership firms to LLP. Then we have a concurrent audit, stock and receivable. After Santana Krishnan spoken, whether that particular topic to be continued or not, we have to see. He said there is no future for concurrent audit, nothing. He said branch audit, it will go away, branch audit will go away, and all he said as such. So, but then, although they have reduced it, still we say that unless the branch audit is certified by a chartered accountant, probably the stakeholders' interest is being compromised if you don't do it. That is the way we take it, which Mr. Jaitley really accepted it. He said it should not be reduced at all. That is the type of instruction. So the branch audit will continue, and only thing is, I will also cover tomorrow when the professional opportunities topic coming. We will also tell you how to go about it in branch audit so that without break to come. So what is the methodology you have to adopt? How to ensure that you get it? What type of change shifting in the system now from the committee was allotting in the case of central auditors, they changed it. The gentleman who was allotting, he was part of our council. As such, what is the change in the methodology? That also will be covering under professional opportunities, since I am part of the professional development committee. So I am in charge of the public relation. So we will be covering certain issues in the tomorrow's seminar, and these are all some of the, and we will have a very healthy open house session also we have contemplated on 31st. Then we have on 31st you have a big cake also. Everyone, it is not a piece of cake actually, isn't it? A big cake is there. Like last few years we are following the system of giving cake, so that some of the takeaways we say. The takeaway in terms of tips and all, okay sir, what is the real takeaway? People say, you can take the cake. That is the thing. And sir, have your coffee, sir? Finished. Now we have a capital gains. The capital gains. Yes. Sir, one thing I want to tell you about Falguna Kumar. He is playing a sheet anchor role in our regional council. Anyone, see, when Mr. Pattabhiram and Mr. Vijay Kumar and all, sometimes big conferences is there when minister has to come to occupy, to have an in-house capacity, we will call some of the speakers. He is a in-house speaker for us. Anybody not coming also, no botheration when he is there. It's a highly knowledgeable Mr. Falguna Kumar, and many of the branches is the most sought after speaker as such. So you would like to give a value addition over to Falguna Kumar.
Om Namo Venkatesaya. No, in fact, Girish Avijay has to speak up to 5:30 here on capital gains, and again 6 o'clock webinar sharp. Again he has to speak. So much tired. So to the Guruji, just give a relief for 15-20 minutes. The relevant subject for the previous subject, that is the wills drafting, will how it is valid, because he has started the succession, the law of succession, mostly the Hindu Succession Act. Though we are having the other 3 Hindu laws, the Hindu law is uncodified totally, but Hindu law is codified to the extent of Hindu Marriage Act, Hindu Adoption and Maintenance Act, Hindu Minor Guardianship Act, and the Hindu Succession Act. Only to the extent of these 4 chapters, Hindu law is codified. The Muslim law is not codified till this day. So the Shariat law, it is also, for Sunnis it is different, for Shias it is different. As far as the others are concerned, who is a Hindu? Hindu means Hindu, Jain, Buddha and Sikh is Hindu. The Jews and Parsis are not Hindus. So for them, the non-Hindus, non-Muslims, the Indian Succession Act 1925 will apply. That is, the Jews, Parsis and Christians are covered under that act. Now, Sir has said intestate succession. Sir has said, what is testate succession? Briefly, I will touch. The testate succession means through will the property passing. So, who can write a will? The property owner. If he is of sound mind, he can write a will. So, there is no necessity of any stamp paper, there is no legal jargon, there is no technicality. Anyone can write. And for that matter, as simple as that, if I write on a piece of paper before my death, saying that all my property shall go to my wife only, it is valid. It is equally valid if I write all my property will go to my personal secretary Julie, then also it is valid. So either this way or that way, it is legally valid.
Can I write will only for my my movable property and immovable property, I don't mention anything in the will.
Yes. So I will deal with the 10 different ways. There are not less than 100 different permutations, combinations. If you read the Indian Succession Act itself has given number of ways and means of writing the will, but few of that I will touch in the shortest time that is available. So the will, the testator, the person who gets the property is legatee. The person who distributes the property to the legatees, the property of the deceased, is executor. So the author, the testator, normally mentions the name of the executor. My property shall go to my 4 children. The eldest son will distribute, see that it is properly distributed. Then son is a legatee and a executor. If I have not written about the name of the executor, then if the wisdom prevails on those 4 children, they will normally sit together and then get it distributed as per the will, because it is the wish of the father, it is his property. But if they are not coming together, one of them will go to the court. Then court will appoint somebody to see that it is distributed. Then that person's name is known as administrator. He is not the executor. So that's why we write, whenever we write a deed, that this includes legal heirs, executors, administrators, like that recital. So the will can be for the total property, for some of the property, for movable property, for immovable property. Specific property, specific legatee. General property, residual property to one legatee, or the residual property you have not touched at all. So that can be possibility. There can be so many possibilities. The will to be valid, the person testator should sign it if he is capable of signing. If he is illiterate, should affix the thumb impression. Will should be witnessed. 2 witnesses is a must to make the will valid. Will should be normally dated. Why? Because last will only is valid. However, earlier wills are there for the same property, they are not valid. Number of times you can go on change. So even if you want to register a will, you can register. Unregistered will is also valid. So just before the death, last will, whether it is registered or unregistered, the last will only will prevail, the other things will not prevail. So the will, if the person who is writing the will is a Hindu, for his self-acquired property he can write the will. If he is a co-parcel in a HUF, as per section 30 of the Hindu Succession Act, for his share of that HUF, also he can write a will. Okay. If he is a Muslim, for his self-acquired property he cannot totally write a will, only for the 1/3 of the property he can write a will. For 2/3 of the property, if he is interested to write a will, the other family members should permit him, otherwise a Muslim cannot. A Muslim will is otherwise known as the wasiyat. A Muslim will can be a oral will also, but for all others, Christians, Hindus, will should be in writing. The will, if it is running into several pages, and there is a dichotomy, confusion, a mistake, that in the first page of the will I wrote that my property 1 shall go to my first son, but while concluding, the property 1 shall go to my second child. If by mistake I write, then which one is valid? Last page only is valid, first page is not valid. So the colloquial names, I may call my eldest son as a Chitti Chitti. So then if I write only Chitti should get this property, then that's also valid for interpretation of the will. Then there is no guarantee that whatever the property I write in the will be there at the time of my death. I said my house number 1 shall go to my son, but before my death I sold my house, then what happens? So nothing my son 1 will get, only the other property to other children. Then, though I wrote the will, before my death I acquired some more property than the will, property that is mentioned in the will. So if in the will that residuary clause is not there, saying that whatever the property I have not written in Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3. Son 1, son 2, daughter. So the residuary clause, if it is not there in the will, then that residuary property will go as per the law of succession. So law of succession for Hindus different, Hindu Succession Act. For others, Indian Succession Act. Like that it will go. So the will, when I write, for properties passing on, generally one will write the will. Even if I have a debt, normally I will not write about the debt. But by chance, at the time of writing I am only having the properties. But while dying I have some debts also. Then what happens to the debts? So the debts are again two types. General debts, specific debts. That means a debt, secured debt attached to a particular property. I wrote the will that property 1 shall go to my son. I didn't talk about the loan on this house, which prior to it or after the writing the will I have created the will. So the son will get the house together with the loan. It is his duty to discharge the loan, then take the property. Say for example, residuary property is there and general loans are there. Again two possibilities. Residuary property is more, loans are less. Then the executor, distributing the specific properties to the specific legatees, realizing the residuary property, should discharge the loans and the remaining money he should distribute as per the succession. But by chance, residuary property is less, other loans are more, then who should share the loans? Because loans someone has to share. The creditor will not keep quiet, creditor will go to court, and then your father might have written the will, but he is borrowed and he died, please pay the. So the specific property, specific loan shall be shut off, and the remaining surplus property shall come to the rescue of this residuary excess loan. That is the law. Then sir, residuary loans are more, residuary property is less. So first the executor should realize the residuary properties, discharge to that extent. Still some loan is there, but that loan is not corresponding with any asset. Specific assets are mentioned to specific legatees. So in the same ratio in which the specific legatees are getting the property, this loan shall be shared by them. Okay. Then, if a Hindu writes a will to his legal heirs, and at the time of death, the predeceased son died, to whom I passed on the property, then to whom it will go? My intention is to pass on to the son, but the son is predeceased. Then though the testator is okay, in one hot summer, I didn't say that. You are presuming. You are presuming. So, I am going with my secretary to Ooty. In the Ghat road, car met with the accident. So, I am going along with my secretary. So, car met with the accident. So, both of us died. I wrote a will that my property will go to my secretary. Secretary also wrote a will that her property will go to her daughter. Both of us died. To whom the property will go? Is the question. So the question comes, who died first? The answer depends upon who died first. Because the law is, if I die first, I am having the property, I executed a will, so as per the will go to Julie. So automatically she died later, her property already she got from me. So that property will go to her. But if she dies first, my will is invalid because she is not my legal heir. So on my death, if the legatee is not surviving, who is not my legal heir, come back, it will become the general property, residuary property. So if she dies first, she will not inherit anything. So that's how the inheritance, the legatee, the rights. Sir? No. You put the question the other way. Nobody is coming to know, because nowadays death also, few hours back, few days back, anything can be scientifically resolved. So if we were both going in a plane crashed in the sea, so who died first is not able to decide. That way you put the question. So then also will is invalid. The answer is there in the Indian Succession Act. All these questions, permutations, combinations, all these are all in the Act, not my words. So established things. Okay. So the property is taking different shape. I said my 1,000 shares in Pfizer Limited will go to my son when I wrote the will. Whereas those 1,000 shares are redeemable preference shares and they have redeemed and gave the debentures, let us assume. But even then, the debenture shall go to my son only. The property has changed the shape. Even if the property has changed the shape, the property will go to, because there is a trace, we can identify. So similarly, if I say, I have 2 cars, bigger car shall go to son 1, smaller car shall go to son 2, I wrote. So I didn't name the cars. But if it is capable of identifying the property, definitely a reasonable interpretation. A latent mistake, patent mistake in the will can be there. So the latent mistakes can be corrected, interpreted, patent mistakes cannot be corrected or interpreted. The will, normally if I write a will saying that my property shall go to my daughter, so and so property, and so property shall go to my son. Both are dissatisfied if they come to know the will, because they are interested in what the others are getting only. So till my death, both of them will not look after me. So if I make known the will, so then what I should do? Keep the will in a sealed cover. The witnesses need not know the contents of the will. The witnesses need witness. What is the job of the witness? They should say that he signed in my presence on so and so day. That is only the thing. Witnesses need not know the contents. Generally, if the will runs into several pages, every page I will sign, every page I will ask the witnesses. Otherwise, there is a danger that only last page will be the original, other pages will be substituted, replaced. Everything is possible now. So, the will, if it is returned, and then the will unregistered also valid, I say, but will registration, if you go to the sub-registrar's office, only the registration fees you have to pay. So that registration fees, if you pay, very nominal, irrespective of the value, you need not show the value of the properties. Simply say the properties. You need not arrive the value of the property because no stamp duty. So that is a registration fees only you pay. There is one more possibility given, because contemplating that if the will is registered without the knowledge of my children, then also the quarrel will come. They will come to know that it is registered, they will go apply a public copy, then they start quarreling or troubling me or troubling among themselves. So the will, there is the other possibility, the will can be in a sealed cover. That sealed cover can be kept with the sub-registrar. So the depositing of the will, law permitted. So if you deposit the will, only on the death, after the death, somebody who is interested should go and say that please register the will now. Then after the death of the testator, the will be opened, registered, and then will be given the copy. So a registered will to some extent avoids the dispute. Even a registered will, somebody can say under coercion, threat it is registered. So then it is invalid. Every will in the case of other than Hindus will get null and void if the person testator gets married. That means before marriage, if somebody writes a will and after that he gets married, if he is not a Hindu, then that will is invalid. That means after every marriage, you should write a fresh will, assuming second, third will be there. So because the law says At the time of marriage, the will of earlier will get invalid. So that is for other thing. Secondly, for the Hindu will, the witnesses also can be the legatees, whereas the others, witnesses should not be the legatees. That means if you write some property will go to somebody, that somebody should not be the witness in other than Hindus. So that care one has to take. Then the executors need not be the persons physical. They can be chartered accountants firm, they can be lawyers. Generally the executor should be a long living person or existing person at the time of death. Because I am sure if I ask the question, very few of you would have written the will. How many of you written the will? No. So only 4, 5 hands were raised. So it is not the case. Why the law has said that we don't know whether tomorrow I will be there or not, I don't know. So better always write the will. It avoids so much litigation, confusion. If not in the city, in the Mafshal area where from I come or in the villages, our background, for a smallest property also litigation go to the court. Nearly substantial cost of that property is parted to the advocates and the court fees rather than enjoying the property peacefully, agreeing for a peaceful partition. That's why the will, it doesn't mean Reliance Ambani also has planned properly, but even after that some quarrel will be there. Whether you give substantial property or a smaller property, quarrel will come and go to court, then try to fight for some years. Some
Brothers of a leading legal firm, they are fighting in court.
Oh,
And Chidambaram is appearing for one of the lawyers.
so it's but natural.
Firm in India.
That's why hundreds of years back itself the will, this registration, all these things are planned before independence itself. These are all not now, hundreds of years back itself. So will writing, even the professionals should do it. That's what I mean to say. So professionals should better advise your clients, and we ourselves should put into practice writing of a will. So better you see that the person whom you are naming as an executor is roughly informed, not specifically, because he may leak the information to the legal heirs. That is the worry. But he should be a gentleman, he should be a fair-minded man, so that the property. The executor's right is, if he is a person who is unaware of this will, and within 6 months he is not coming and taking the possession of these properties and trying to execute, then he is losing his right. Even if he takes the possession, he must within a reasonable time see that it is partition. That's it. Assets are realized, liabilities are cleared, like that he should see it. If he is not doing that, then he is losing the right, and if he wants more time, 1.5 years, 2 years, he should apply to the court and take these things. So,
The last will prevail over the registered will.
sir?
The last will you are writing.
Uh,
Prevail over the already registered will.
yes, 1 year back I registered a will, but yesterday I wrote a unregistered will. Last date will only, though it is unregistered, will prevail. Though it is unregistered, will prevail. The probate word you would have heard. What is meant by probate? Only in the metros of Calcutta, Bombay and Chennai, earlier Madras,